Are you ready for Tim Tuesday? Hi guys, welcome to Lee Reacts. Hope everyone's having a good day. Bam. Right there. I know I am. We are back with Tim Minchin. It has been months since we've munched on some Minchin. No, seriously though, I think the last one we did was Storm, and that was excellent. I had such a great time with that song. It's actually probably my favorite song by him that we've done. We've done a few now. I really enjoy him. This is courtesy of our alpha patron Cora. As always, Cora, thank you so much for everything, man. Seriously, she has sponsored all of the Tim Minchin videos, and they have been a riot. That's it. Let's go. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that nonsense, whatever. It really helps, I guess. I'll say that. Well, you know what really helps? Donations and supporting the channel financially. And you can do that in the description. There's a Patreon if you want to give videos like this, and there's a PayPal as well if you want to send it, tip in. Hey, here's $1,000, Lee. Go take care of your car. You know what I mean? I won't complain. I mean, maybe a little bit, but all right, here we go. Tim Minchin, thank you, God, for that $1,000 that person's sending me. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Sorry, I'm procrastinating. Look, there's just something I kind of need to address, and I should do it. I know I should do it now. Over the years, I've realized that a lot of my audience has come to my shows, particularly because of sometimes because I quite often sing about beliefs. Specifically, in the past, I've sung a lot about faith and religion, and if I'm completely honest with you, I've tended to mock some of the, not in general, but some of the more perceived hypocrisies.
Yeah,
I just don't want anyone to be waiting for that, because I'm not doing it anymore. Well, I know it's... Look, I should. You've earned an explanation. You're right. Something happened to me. You see, when I was touring my last show in Australia.
You found God.
The beginning of last year, and I was doing a gig. Not one of my gigs. It was it was actually a new material night, hosted by the Ross Noble. You know, the long-haired, mentally ill northerner, and he's not obviously. He's a genius, which is a mentally ill person with an audience. He's beautiful. He's Ross. He's the best, and he does this amazing gig. And we were having a drink afterwards, and it was a really nice vibe in the bar. But I noticed this dude who slightly uncomfortably was hovering, sort of on the periphery of our group. And I noticed in particular, this tall, really handsome guy had those nice dreadlocks that you can get for about 600 quid at the hairdresser, and he had a shirt open to about here, and it's very tanned. But I noticed him particularly because he had a long silver chain. And hanging on the end of the chain, a quite prominent silver cross. You know, the sort of cross you might wear if you're a fan of intersections. Or the lowercase letter T. Or probably most commonly if you're a fan of the apparatus by which first century Romans put to death and tortured Jewish insurgents. And anyway, he was sort of standing there.
Crucifixion was brutal, bro.
Eventually he made the move, and he came over. It's lovely, polite guy. He said, "Hi, g'day, I'm Sam." His name was Sam. He said, "I'm from Dandenong." He was from Dandenong, which is the suburb of Dandenong, set in the Dandenong Ranges, just to the southeast of Melbourne. And we got talking, but I could tell he wanted to talk to me, and eventually he managed to kind of, isolate me from the pack. And he said, "Tim, I've always wanted to talk to you because I'm a fan of your work, and I don't want you to think I'm offended or anything, but as you might have noticed, I'm a Christian. And he said, I've always wanted to ask you why you don't believe in God." And I said, "Well, Sam, I don't believe in God for the same reason that anyone that doesn't believe in a thing doesn't believe in it, because I haven't yet been offered enough evidence to allay my doubts." And he said, "But you don't just go through your whole life only believing things for which you have evidence."
I guess, kind of you do, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much how I stutter my way through my turgid existence, yeah. And he said, "What about love?" And I said, "What about love, Sam?" And he said, "Do you believe in love?" And I said, "Yeah, I believe in love. I think I am loved. Sure." And he said, "Aha!
I don't.
You don't have any evidence for love." And I said, I think, yeah, I've got evidence Sure, I mean, love without evidence is stalking.
It's true, it is. It's very true. He's very
And he said, well, Tim, if it's
engrossing.
evidence you want, how about this? And he told me this story.
Excellent
this incredible
storyteller.
story about his mum. You see, Sam and his mother were members of a big evangelical church congregation in the
great.
Dandenongs, one of those new glassy type ones. And in her early 60s, Sam's mum had gone to the doctor with a problem with her eye, and he had diagnosed an irreversible degenerative eye disorder. And he told her that if she didn't get surgery very quickly that she would lose her eyesight. And Sam's mum was afraid. She didn't believe in modern medicine. She didn't trust doctors. She was afraid of hospitals and the idea of surgery. But Sam and his mum went to this church, this incredible church. And that Sunday, the entire congregation of their church, some 1,700 people, prayed
They all pray for
at the
her.
same time for Sam's mum. And the following
the brain.
Tuesday, they went back to the doctor.
Lots of brain power all at
There
once.
was no sign that there'd ever been anything wrong with her eyes. She was healed. She was cured.
There's all kinds of
And
stories
the
like
reason
that.
this story
It's
had an
crazy.
impact on me is because I try to be intellectually honest with others and with myself, and all I've ever asked for is evidence. And here I was witnessing a first-person account of what can only be described as a miracle. So I went home and I wrote this song.
Here we go. He is so good at telling stories, bro.
I have
Insane.
an apology to make. I'm afraid I've made a big mistake. I turned my face away from you, Lord.
The whole crowd's like, what's
I
going on?
was too blind to see the light. I was too meek to feel your might. I closed my eyes, I couldn't see the truth, Lord. But then like Saul on the Damascus road,
Saul turned to Paul.
you sent a messenger to me, and so now I've had the truth revealed to me. Please forgive me all those things I said. I'll no longer betray you, Lord. I will pray to you instead, and I will say thank you, thank you, thank you, God. Thank you, thank you, thank you, God. Thank you, God.
There we go.
Thank you, God, for fixing the cataracts of Sam's mum. I had no
Very
idea, but it's
exact.
suddenly so clear. Now I feel such a cynic. How could I have been so dumb? Thank you for displaying how praying works. A particular prayer in a particular church. Thank you, Sam, for the chance to acknowledge this omnipotent ophthalmologist. Thank you, God, for fixing the cataracts of Sam's mum. I didn't realize that it was so simple, but you've shown a great example of just how it can be done. You only need to pray in a particular spot to a particular version of a particular God. And if you pull that off
so
without a hitch, he will fix one eye of one middle-class white bitch. I know in the past my outlook has been limited. I couldn't see examples of where life had been definitive, but I can admit it when the evidence is clear as Sam's mom's new cornea. And that's extremely clear. Thank
Come
you,
on, bro.
God, for
That's great.
fixing the cataracts of Sam's mum. I have to admit that in the past I have been skeptical, but Sam described this miracle and I am overcome. How fitting that the sighting of a sight-based intervention should open my eyes to this exciting new dimension. It's like someone put an eye chart up in front of me and the top 5 letters say I-C-G-O-D. Thank you, Sam, for showing how my point of view has been so flawed. I assumed there was no God at all, but now I see that cynical. It's simply that his interests aren't particularly broad. He's largely undiverted by the starving masses, or the inequality between the various classes. He gives out strictly limited passes, redeemable for surgery or 2-for-1 glasses. I feel so shocking for historically mocking you. Your interests are clearly confined to the ocular. I bet given the chance, you'd eschew the divine and start a little business selling contacts online.
1-800
Fuck me,
contacts.
Sam, what are the odds that of history's endless parade of gods, that the God you just happen to be taught to believe in is the actual God, and he digs on healing, but not the AIDS-ridden African nations, nor the victims of the plague, nor the flood-addled Asians. Caucasians, but healthy, privately insured Australians with common incurable lens degeneration. The story of Sam's has but a single explanation, a surgical god who digs on magic operations. No, it couldn't be mistaken, attribution of causation, born of a coincidental temporal correlation, exacerbated by a general lack of education vis-a-vis physics in Sam's parish congregation. It couldn't be that all these pious people are liars. It couldn't be an artifact of confirmation bias, a product of groupthink, a mass delusion, an emperor's new clothes style, fear of exclusion.
There he is.
More likely to be an all-powerful magician than the misdiagnosis of the initial condition, or one of many cases of spontaneous remission, or a record-keeping glitch by the local physician. No, the only explanation for Sam's mum's scene, they prayed to an all-knowing super being, to the omnipresent master of the universe, and he liked the sound of their muttered verse. So for a bit of a change from his usual stunt of being a sexist, racist, murderous cunt, he popped down to Dandenong and just like that used his powers to heal the cataracts of Sam's mum. Of Sam's mum. Oh, thank you God for fixing the cataracts of Sam's mum. I didn't realize that it was such a simple thing. I feel such a ding-a-ling, what ignorant scum. Now I understand how prayer can work, a particular prayer in a particular church, in a particular style, with a particular stuff, and for particular problems that are particularly tough, and for particular people, preferably white, and for particular senses, preferably sight, a particular prayer in a particular spot, to a particular version of a particular God. And if you get that right, he just might take a break from giving babies malaria and pop down to your local area to fix the cataracts of your mom.
Bravo. As always, Tim brings the heat.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle indeed, Tim. Oh, man. He is so good at that. Before I even get into the whole spiel, I gotta give the man props. He can tell a story so damn well. Through song, through just words. He doesn't need music. He can just tell you a story by talking. Like the beginning of it, I was just like eating out of the palm of his hand. Like every next word, I'm like waiting for it, bro, with bated breath. That was great. You see, he always tackles religion in a way where it's kind of hard to like refute his points. He's really good at that. He's really, really good at like just throwing those lines out there. You're like, damn, I can't argue with that, bro. It's so true. And it is a specific time in history and place that we live in, and that's just how life is. A lot of the stuff he was saying, you know, I think that's not a bug. I think that is a feature. You know what I mean? I think that's just what life is. That's what is. If you want to go through all that, you know what I mean, and say that God is real, then that's just what life is. That's what he made. It may suck. It may seem stupid and futile. This is what he made. He didn't do a great job with some of the stuff. Okay, that's fine, man. He's not perfect. They say he is, but in a universe, omniverse, as I believe in, it's a lot bigger than we think it is. You know, there's probably a lot out there that we couldn't even perceive. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. I feel like we don't know shit. As you guys, if you've watched the channel for a long time, I've already said all this. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't think that we know as much as we think we do. We can build all these fancy machines and such, but I think we're at base level, we're very intelligent animals. We still act like animals in a lot of ways that we don't realize because we're human. We don't see ourselves something like a dog or something would see us. That's why dogs look at us so weird. Like, what the fuck is this dude doing? We're like doing our normal human things. We don't know, you know? And we find anything to like try to make sense of things. Like, you know, the Greeks back in the day with like Zeus and such, you know, he was like the leader of the pantheon, but he basically was a description of the force of thunder and lightning, and people didn't understand where it came from. You know what I mean? They didn't understand that it's like hot and cold air mixing, creating storms and such. They didn't know that, or they had a very little understanding of that. Now take that and extrapolate it and put it to these days with us. What's some stuff that we don't understand? What's stuff that like, oh, that's ghosts or that's aliens, or it's just like there's plenty of stuff that happens that we can't explain even today, even with all our fancy computers and numbers and such. Aren't we fancy? You know what I mean? But like, no, we don't know shit, bro. We definitely have come a long ways in science and medicine, and that's great, but I feel like the base levels of that, even to a point, probably aren't as solid as we think they are. And that's fine, bro, because most of it works. Like, who cares if it's not, I don't know, I'm just weird. So like, I feel like a lot of the stuff is just wrong, but it works. So maybe it's not wrong, you know what I mean? But everyone wants to put their faith in something else other than themselves, other than things that they know, because the unknown is scary, and it's also enticing. Because let's face it, life is boring. It's so boring. I mean, there's so many things you could do to kill the boredom, as they say, but the boredom never truly leaves. The boredom is like a part of our existence. We have this like melancholy, this almost wanderlust about us that's just like, we want more. We know that this is like a waiting area. That's how I look at this whole planet, bro. This is just the waiting area. And I'm not saying we even understand what's next. I have no fucking clue, but I have an idea of like what's gonna happen. I've been having a lot of weird stuff happen to me lately, and I don't know how to really explain it. So it's funny this pops up, because I feel like I've kind of outgrown my pot, if that makes sense. Like if I'm a plant, my roots are starting to like bunch up. You know what I mean? And it's mentally, spiritually, physically, all that, and that's not a good thing, because that's how you die. Even if you're alive and like thriving, that's how you kill yourself. It's like stuff like that, man. And I don't know. I feel like the world is also changing around me, and that's scary because like the world, for the most part, it always is changing, so it kind of stays the same. But now it's not. It's in a way like a lot of things, like pigs are flying basically, and it's just like every day, and I don't even know how to explain most of it, So I'm glad that I have this channel and like stuff like this that can make me think outside of myself for like 5 minutes, which is great. And I really appreciate you, Cora. Like, what a great, just half of it was a track, half of it was him talking, but I'll say it's a track just in general. His performance is just unstoppable, bro. Like it just every next part you want to hear it even quicker than the last one, and I love that about him. He's so right about like the whole how people just like they'll pray for whatever basically, and the church, and then something will happen and then they'll be like, oh my god, it worked, you know what I mean? But in reality it could have been a million other things that just happened around the same time. Like, there's like a million decisions, it feels like, that happens in every day. We're not even in control of half of them, but like, going left at the light instead of right, or the red light happened 5 seconds before or after, so you made it or you didn't make it, So like there's so many different little paths we could take that we don't even realize. Like we just live our lives and we just kind of just blaze through it. We don't even pay attention. We don't stop and smell the roses. I'm a weirdo. Like I'm a strange person, so I do stop and smell the roses, like with things that don't make sense to people. They probably think I'm like crazy or something. But like I enjoy just like, I don't know, I'm embracing reality around me, bro, because this is such a strange place. Like, I feel like I don't even know it sometimes, and I've lived here for 31 years, maybe longer if you believe in other stuff, but a lot of it doesn't make sense anymore. Everything, I don't know if that's because things are changing so much, or maybe I'm just getting older, and my brain is, like, metastasizing, but shit is like, starting not to make sense to me, and I've always been a very sharp cookie. I pick up things very quickly, but nowadays there's things happening where I don't. But I'm also 31 now. Maybe I'm just getting old, man. I do feel that way in the morning. I'm not gonna lie. But man, I'm just like literally dancing around this freaking topic, bro. It's so hard to like I said, it's hard to refute his stuff. But like I said, I think that's just what life is. The stuff he's just like malaria with kids, and the world's fucked up. Like it's so fucked up, and I am so lucky. And if you're watching this video, more than likely, you're very lucky too, because there's some people in this world that won't even be able to watch this video or get on a platform to watch anything. You know what I mean? But the more and more as like time goes on, the internet spreads further and further, and that's not a good thing, I don't think. I think the internet's a very dangerous thing, especially with AI together with it. They're trying to make God. If you really want to get weird with it, that's what they've been doing for the past 10 years, is they're trying to build God. Or like I don't know. They're trying to bring about things, and I say they, and everyone's like, "What's they mean?" You know, but like, no, seriously, I feel like there's stuff going on. There's powerful people and powerful forces at work nowadays, and I'm not even saying like a spiritual thing. I'm talking just physical. Like there is stuff happening and things going on, and we have no idea. And I bet there's someone watching this video who might know, because there's some people who do know what's going on, and it's just crazy. And I don't know. I always feel like the sky's falling. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. I'm very happy with my family, and I'm very happy with this channel. And it's so funny, is I enjoy this more now that it's gotten smaller, because when it was huge, I didn't even know what was up or down. I was just nonstop doing this channel, and it kind of burnt myself out on it, but at the same time, it burnt everyone else out too. It's just how it works, you know. And I'm trying to find a new lane to do stuff too. If you have any ideas, leave it in the comments, man. I'm definitely all ears. Literally, look at those things. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Tim Minchin has never ever not been like a great time. Like it brings out so much conversation, and it's so much thought, you know. And what he's saying is so true. You know, just the one little thing happens, oh my God, it's a miracle. But the things he's saying is like, why does God worry about this and not that? We're not God. We're never going to understand. It's never going to make sense. That's what the people don't get it. That you have to just stop trying to make sense of it, you know, because if God is real, we're not God, so we're never going to understand whatever the hell he's thinking, or she, or it. It doesn't matter, you know. It doesn't even really think. We're probably a part of it in a way. If you really want to get technical about it, if we were made in God's image, we are a reflection of him. So he probably looks like us, or she, you know what I mean? Like if it's real, I'm not saying it is, but if you read the Bible, it's actually kind of interesting if you read it from a modern lens and like trying to see like what they were saying and stuff like that. It's very interesting. Not saying it's true, but you never know. Might as well take a shot at it and say, hey, whatever, you know, it might work, it might not when you die. Who knows? So, thanks for watching, guys. If you have any other picks by Tim Minchin you think I'd like, leave it down below. I am always open to do stuff by him, because it's very eye-opening, you know? And he's got such a great brain. The way he can just tie together words and sentences and ideas and phrases and just turn them on the head, just... It's crazy. What talent. I wish I could speak as eloquently and... just write some of that stuff that he does. It's just insane. So I'm gonna let y'all go. I've already yapped long enough. It's been freaking 23 minutes almost. I gotta get the hell out of here. God help me.